Johnny, get your gun, get your gun, get your gun. Take it on the run, on the run, on the run. Hear them calling you.
Welcome back to Frontline Rejects. Before we get started today, we'd appreciate it if you could help us out by hitting that like and subscribe button and by dropping a comment in the comment section below. And if you'd like to reach out to us directly, send us an email at frontlinerejects@gmail.com. The bullet that we're testing today is Barnes 110 grain TAC-TX in 308 diameter, which we've got loaded up in 7.62 by 39. This is an all copper or monolithic projectile that Barnes is designed to expand well down to around 1400 feet per second. While we have tested the TTSX and the TSX from Barnes before, this is the first time that we've tested the TAC-TX. We're going to be testing from 100 to 500 yards, which is going to be a bit of a challenge with this chambering, but we're confident that we're going to be able to pull it off, and we're excited to try. We hope you are as well, so let's get started.
Barnes 110 grain TAC-TX 7.62 by 39, 100 yards. Back on the ranch again, dude.
Hell yeah. Love some 7.62 by 39. It's a great day for hay.
That was a great shot, man.
Thank you.
All right, man. Do it for Dale.
Do it for Dale. I done did it for Dale.
Good hit.
Am I good?
Yep.
Safety.
Rookie mistake.
Rookie mistake.
Nice shot, dude.
Thank
Fuck
you.
yeah. All right, go ahead, man.
All right. See what I can do. You know, this shooting position is actually really comfortable.
It is, isn't it?
I'm loving it. I am loving it right now. How'd it look?
I got absolutely zero idea.
The 110 grain Barnes TAC-TX was designed for use at lower velocities and on paper expands effectively down to 1400 feet per second, which turned out well for us as in the 7.62 but 39 we reached an estimated 1376 feet per second at 500 yards and estimated impact velocities were provided today using JBM ballistics. To clear up any confusion, yes, this is a 308 diameter projectile and a 310 diameter bore, which didn't cause any noticeable accuracy issues at reasonable ranges, with one or two caveats which we'll get into later. At the 100 we have optimal expansion, the round opened up wide on all sides, peeling back evenly to the base of the bullet. At 200 again, great results, the homogeneous copper alloy peeled back in line with the relief groove, resulting in a very wide diameter. 300 we see expansion ending higher up the shank as we drop down to 1760 feet per second. 400 maintains about the same expansion as the 3, perhaps a tad bit wider, with what I'd consider to be a very geometrically attractive figure. At 500 the projectile definitely starts to look a bit rougher as we drop below 1400 feet per second. It started to tumble a bit and we can see that some of the petals folded in on themselves, but still more than an acceptable result. Now before we move on to the graphs, I want to quickly bring up one of those caveats regarding accuracy. In the target footage from when we were shooting at 500 yards, you can't really see the impact on the jugs when we shot, and to be honest, neither could we. We had winds gusting at over 30 miles per hour and a rapidly decelerating projectile coming out of a cartridge which isn't known to produce exceptional accuracy. So Andreas used a holdover for where the round should have impacted and sent a half dozen shots. Not a single one produced a visible impact on our camera, which was shaking like an aging alcoholic pouring his morning bevy. When we went down and checked the trough, we found to our surprise that we had managed to catch 4 bullets. Now to reiterate, Barnes states that the TAC-TX in this diameter and grain weight expands down to 1400 feet per second, and we were right about at that figure at 500 yards. That being said, 2 of our projectiles opened up and 2 did not. So the TAC-TX will expand at 1400 feet per second, but it's literally 50-50 250 odds. We cherry-picked the best looking one out of the bunch when calculating our figures, which we'll get into here as we move on to our graphs, which show expansion starting out at 2.18, almost 2.2 times original size at the 100, then dropping down and staying fairly consistent from 200 to 400 yards in the 1.9 to 2.0 range. At 500, when we hit 1400-ish FPS, we got 1.69 times original size, and my own personal acceptable minimum expansion figure is 1.5 times original size, which I believe a projectile needs to produce to be able to effectively transfer energy to a target. The 110 Barnes TAC-TX met that standard at all ranges fired. Weight retention was extremely consistent, 98.15% overall, which is in line with other comparable monolithics like the TTSX, CX, and E-tip. So we've got solid numbers on the board from the TAC-TX even when using it in a relatively moderate cartridge, which does make the TAC-TX a very viable hunting round within reasonable ranges. Now on that topic, I would be more than happy to run this bullet in 7.62x39 or 300 blackout for hunting up to and including deer-sized game. And while we did get good expansion after 500 yards, I would not run the bullet past 300. There are a few reasons for this. Namely, I think the biggest reason to run this bullet is because a shooter is running a firearm in 7.62x39 or 300 blackout. We've tested several bullets in this chambering, and the TAC-TX is the best so far by leaps and bounds. So running this bullet means likely maximizing your bullet selection in these chamberings. And the reason I want to run either of these cartridges is because I'm hunting in closer quarters like thick, dense brush, and I want to use a lighter, handier platform with a shorter barrel like the Ruger American Ranch with a 16-inch barrel that we tested this in. And in this kind of environment, I would not expect to shoot far at all, and in most circumstances would be capped at less than 300 yards. And if I'm in an open area where I can take shots past 300 yards, I'm going to pick a cartridge more suitable to doing that. Now we can say that perhaps this lighter weight bullet would produce less recoil and be easier for a younger shooter, which is true. The recoil on this load was very mild, but it's no more mild than a 110 or 120 grain pill in a 6.5 Creedmoor or an 80 or 90 grain option in 6mm ARC, both of which are more capable cartridges at longer range. A big part of which is due to the higher BC offered by narrower, longer, slipperier projectiles. And while yes, we were shooting in very high wind, getting on target at 400 had one or two challenges, and at 500 was quite difficult, and I think would be unethical in a hunting scenario with this cartridge. So it has its limitations, but if you're planning on running this bullet and you are intending to stay within 300 yards, then I believe from what we've tested so far, there is no finer choice. Of course, you'll have to adjust that max estimate depending on which cartridge you're using, as 300 blackout generally gets about 200 feet per second lower of muzzle velocities than 7.62x39 incomparably weighted projectiles. A word of caution: if you do intend to load this in 7.62x39, be aware the overall length is an issue. In our rifle, we had to single feed the rounds as the profile of this bullet causes it to protrude too far out to fit in the magazine of our gun. We were extremely impressed by the TAC-TX's performance, and we're looking forward to testing the 115 grain offering in 6.5. To make sure you don't miss that video and many more, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. If you got something out of the video, help us out with a like or a comment, and we'll see you next time.